guys? Tambo here with your Week 3 core report. It was another huge week for Run Pure members as once again our logos were all over the leaderboard. I myself actually kicked things off, hitting for 38K on the Thursday NFL Showdown slate, and then once again with another 35K on the PGA slate for President's Cup. You can catch all my core plays and attack plan for every NFL slate, as well as for PGA, available to premium members on runpuresports.com. You Kill Bill Walsh followed up nailing his CFB core plays for the second week in a row. Shout out to GoBoys18 for hitting over $7,500 on the Friday DK CFB slate. On the NFL main slate, the man shipped big yet again with a $105,000 hit on DraftKings. But once again, it was one of Big T's cores that broke the slate on Monday Night Football. Big T made the unique call of plugging kicker Graham Gano in at captain, opening up salary to load up on studs for a projected low total game. Tony actually called his shot earlier in the day on our free NFL Showdown show.
What does a kicker have to score to get you there if you play him in the captain, Tony?
I mean, I think to like full ship, you would need 5+ field goals. But in a game like this, you could get 5+ field goals.
By the way, if you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, what the hell are you thinking? It's free. Just click the red subscribe button on our channel or the bottom right corner of our videos. Big T's strategy paid off big time, shipping literally all the money on DraftKings. Tony won over $280K himself, but he was not alone. RPS members chopped the top prize in the DraftKings Millie Maker, including JCOM turned $70 into $7K. Derek Bowe turned $45 into over $10K. B-Wall05 did the exact same thing. BP Consi turned $90 into over $10K. Jeffy B123, Noon7, MVY Littell 1928, Armed Rogery, Hard Work 24/7, and DSF Dom all joined in, hitting over $10K each. Jay Gingery turned $245 into over $12K. Gators S070, Master 24, and APOC 14 hit for $13K each. Guy Nation Matt Guy shipped over $20,000. Hela Made himself hit for $20,000 as well. Uncle T even got in on the action, shipping over $27,000. And Rubio's core plays and playbook nailed the game script too, and he joined in on the fun, hitting for over $19,000 himself. I cannot stress enough the benefits of being a member at Run Pure Sports. All it takes is one night like this, and it can set you up for the entire season. And we give you guys the tools and content to make it happen. Head on over to runpuresports.com to check out all our premium options, including SaberSim packages, and we'll see your screenshots in the Discord soon. Until next week, good luck in your contest, and let's keep running pure.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports MLB Swing for the Fences show, 4:45 Eastern, right here, right now. You guys got me today. You're lucky. Holden is not here. So, just hit that like. I know you're happy Holden's not here and I'm taking his place. Let's go to the guy who I know is happy he doesn't have to hang out with Holden for an hour today. That's our boy, DC. DC, got you on the free show, bringing the winners. How is it going over there?
Things are good. Holden and I feel like we formed a pretty good bond, a pretty good friendship over this long MLB season, but we do spend a lot of time together. We're talking 4 or 5 days a week, handling Holden's sex jokes. And so, yeah, when I hop on the show, I knew Steve was going to be here, but, I was expecting Holden. You see me on going, and it brought a smile to my face. So it was already a good day. I was already excited about the slate, the show, but, just kicked it up a notch. So happy to have you, Travis.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of doing shows with Holden for me, DC, is like you're far enough away where we got to really make our way to get to each other. Like Holden was talking to me today. He's like, "Oh, I went for a hike in this town over by you," and he named the place, and I was like, "I was there like a couple of weeks ago." So
that's too close, man. Too close.
That's a little too close. So at least you get to see him on a Zoom call. You never know when you're gonna run into our boy Holden. But no, I'm just kidding, just messing around. Holden's been having some issues, and he had to get the dental work done. There's only one time when he can get in, and he needed me to cover. So here to cover. He might hop on the old guys pod, might not. We'll have to see. Hopefully he will be back and ready to rock tomorrow. Let's bring in our boy Steve. He is, deep in the NFL streets finally this year, isn't complaining on Sundays about baseball prize pools being small. We got MLB playoffs coming up as well. So I'm sure you're hyped about that. And then we'll roll right into college basketball. You're our head college basketball guy here over at Run Pure Sports. If you haven't signed up yet, we got all the sports over here. So you can check out Steve's college, you can check out his baseball stuff, you can check out his college basketball stuff. DC's on baseball, he's on football, he's got MMA shows. I mean, I'm on college football, we got NBA around the corner, we got it all over here at Run Pure, so go sign up. But Steve, talk to me about the baseball season and a little bit about this slate.
Yeah, it's been a fun, long season, as it usually is. I'm not on many of the free shows, so I'm excited here. Ducked out of work a little early, which is always nice. It's been a fun season. We do still have some stuff to wrap up. We got the NL East, of course, big Mets Braves series that hopefully plays this weekend, with the storm coming through, and the wild cards are not fully tied up. So still a lot to play for a bunch of the teams. And I think especially on this slate, we see teams and pitchers that we want to use in games that they have to win. So, we kind of talked about that last week on the premium show, DC, but kind of aligning teams that want it with good spots is where we're trying to find places to play in the last week of the season.
We talked about, we talked about that. I've been bringing it up every day. Yesterday, a frustrating day for me. It was all over fat Lance Lynn. Haven't been on this dude all year long for whatever reason. I thought yesterday was the spot, and whatever, you get stuff wrong all the time. You play DFS, it's just going to happen. But it's annoying when you get. I was on the Orioles, right? I had a bunch of Red Sox. I was on the Braves, played 150. All my hitters have like 20, 25 fantasy points, and then Lynn is there to shit on all those lineups. It happens sometimes, but it is frustrating. Normally I would say I'm more accurate with the pitchers than I am the hitters. So when I get all the stacks right and then miss on the pitching, that's the most frustrating way for me personally to lose.
Yeah.
But right back to it. You lick your wounds and you try again the next day. So I'm excited for this one too.
Yep, should be fun. Who wasn't licking their wounds? The RPS crew. There was no licking wounds over there on Monday. And hey, we got a nice Thursday Showdown show that you do not want to miss out on. And I heard it could be premium. So why sign up when it's about to start, right? Just sign up now. Get in on the winners for today. Also, it helps Big T. He's someone that's on a little bit of a heater. You know what I did yesterday? I was like, listen, I got some baseball takes. I don't got a ton. And I said, I'm just going to follow Big T. Let me just keep it simple. Went up, pulled this stuff up. Everything cash that I played. It was just that simple. So use his player pool today to play some MLB if you like, and then hop on over and play some Showdown tomorrow. But we got to talk about the members that never win. Because yes, Big T, he won $280,000, and everyone just acts like he's the only one who wins. But that's not true. Other people won too. We got ESPN, 4 hours, so 24 hours, won $7K. We got JCOM, turned $70 into $7K. I mean, that's an insane number. Derek Fowl and B Walsh 05, they turned $45 into $10,000. Absolutely incredible. Hang on tight, DC. This is like a FanDuel commercial where we talk about E. Hafner and how much he won and Beer Maker fan. It's one of those. We got a lot to get through.
I'm over in SaberSim downloading some lineups. So you go ahead, man. Go.
Download those lineups. I saw you got bored over there, but trust me, we got to get through them all. We got Pete Conzi. He turned $90 into $10,000. I mean, tons of Showdown winners were given on that Cowboys Giants slate. So congrats to you, B. Conzi. Then we got Jeffy, B123 Noons, 5'7", Lettle, 1928, Armed Rodgery, Hard Work, 24/7, and DFS Dom. They all hit for $10,000 each. Congrats to them. Jay Gingery, he hit $250 and turned it into $12K. So congrats to them. Then we got Gators 07, Master 24, who that's Big T. Not Big T, that's Uncle T in the chat. So our guy, Uncle T. And then APAC 14, they hit for $13,000 each, and Uncle T hit for over $20,000 altogether. So congrats to him. I see him in the chat, and I'm sure he's got some cores up for you guys today. So be sure to track that. Guy Nation and Matt Guy, they shipped $20,000. TaylorMade hit for $20K. And then we got Rubio. Rubio jumped in on the fun. He hit for $19,000. So, and he did have a little bit of a bad beat. I was told by Big T, he could have won like $200K or something insane. But hey.
Listen, 20 $20,000, that buys a lot of Taco Bell for Rubio, so he'll be just fine.
Yeah, he'll be straight for a couple months now.
Taco Bell, Burger King, Little Caesars. He's got it all. He's got it covered. He'll be eating good over the next couple of months for sure. So congrats to those guys. Obviously, ton of winners were given. That's why you don't want to miss out on that premium show on Thursday. So go sign up right now. That way you can check out all the content that we got over here at Run Pure Sports. Before we dive in, one last thing, DC, don't get too bored, but we'll just ask the people, let's hit the like, right? We got 200 watching. It's baseball season. These are like the diehards in here, right? If you're a diehard and watch all the baseball shows, how have you not hit the like? How is it a 1-to-4 ratio right now? Hit that like, please. Subscribe to the channel. You guys already probably have subscribed, though, because you come to all the shows and it's the end of the season. So if you haven't, though, please subscribe and check out all the content that we got over here. We got tons of NFL shows. I did one today. DC was on one today, I think, covering for Lock. So tons of winners we're giving out. Be sure to check those shows out.
Let me just say, if you're watching the show, it is September 28th. It's like day 170 of baseball. If you're currently here watching the show, I would presume you like this show, right? I don't know. Hopefully you're not that bored that you're just watching the show because you got absolutely nothing else to do. So come on, do us a favor, hit the like button. It's what is it? Circle Jerk week over here at RPS. I've been enjoying it on Twitter, talking Big T up. He gets 1 week a year, or I guess now it's like 3 weeks a year, but where you got to slurp Big T every once in a while. I've been enjoying it, man. Going, there's haters out there that are just seeing all these tweets. I just want these tweets to pop up as often on their timelines as possible, just to needle them, twist the knife a little bit. So I've been enjoying RPS week over here.
Oh yeah, I needled Chip my money a little bit today. He was like, we were talking about the NBA media day and stuff, and he was like, "Oh, you didn't catch all the stuff during media day?" And I was like, "No, because I was too busy sifting through all the screenshots of Big T and the RPS members. I couldn't see all the NBA tweets. I couldn't see them." So, having some fun over there on Twitter, obviously. And guys, I know sometimes you guys we withhold the likes because we put them in the premium chat. We're giving out the free plays today, so don't make that a reason not to hit that like, please. Hit that like and let's break down the slate. I think it's about time to get into the baseball takes. And we always kick it off with DC talking about some pitching takes. So DC, it's not a bad pitching slate at all. There's definitely good pitchers to discuss here. At the top, you got 4 guys that I think people are all going to say, hey, good options to consider on this slate. You got Garrett Cole, you got Justin Verlander, Brandon Woodruff, Aaron Nola. Also at the end of the year, so maybe you got some nuggets for the people. I heard you say the Logan Webb thing. You were like, Logan Webb is not going to get as many pitches. And I said, you know what? I don't really care because he's in Big T's core and I just don't care. And my team's cashed, but he didn't get good to go all the way. So maybe you got some nuggets for us that can help us along the way of like, maybe Cole's not going as long. Maybe you got Musgrove. Maybe he's not going to pitch as many pitches.
Yeah.
What's your hit us with those? I think those are super important right now. And the people need to know those things. And even if there's some type of risk, it's worth just, I think, mentioning, or if you think they can go deeper, I think that's another thing to call out too. If there's a guy like that, you could see just going longer because they're fighting to make the playoffs.
How many innings did Logan Webb end up pitching? I had Lance Lynn every
5.
5.
But
how many pitches?
He was just
low.
Really good.
I want to see how many pitches because it was low. That's the thing that was crazy about it. I'll pull it.
I just want to know. I just legitimately curious if I was right about that.
It wasn't as low actually. I
78 pitches in 5 innings.
Okay.
Which it's not. He's gone deeper in the past, right? So the game before he went 66. Then he went 78 and all the other ones. He's always above 80. So, it's
I think they're just going to let him go 5 from here on out,
Seems like it. Oh, well, is that one more start? So
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought last night too. So
we're truly getting down to the end of MLB season now, right? Like these pitchers pitching tonight will get one more start, I think, and then it's playoff time. So truly for some of these teams that have their spots wrapped up or teams, like the Giants, who are essentially eliminated. I don't know if the Giants are officially eliminated, but close to it. If not, we are going to see changes happen for some, not all of these pitchers. And when you look at the top today, the guy I'm most worried about something like that with the pitch count is Justin Verlander, who is going to be popular, has come back for 2 starts since going on the IL. And the first one, he threw 79 pitches over 5 innings. And then last start, I was a little worried about the pitch count there. They let him go 93. It's possible they keep him there, Steve, but I'm a little concerned that they kind of, maybe ramped him up for 1 start, make sure he can still do it coming off injury, and then kind of slow it back down and then get him ready for the playoffs. I think that's a realistic possibility. Again, it's not a sure thing, but when you're talking about what I think will be one of the more popular pitchers on the slate in Verlander, certainly one of the more expensive. Again, there's a lot of pitchers I like on this slate. And so you're trying to narrow down your pool as much as you can. That's enough for me to not completely fade Verlander, playing 150. So I will have some exposure, but it'll be significantly under the field. Garrett Cole, I mean, you don't want to be the guy, the game log watcher necessarily, but like, he really hasn't been that great in the majority of his starts. He's not getting blown up, but you're talking 15, 20 fantasy points for most of them lately. That's not getting good.
Also, they clinched last night. They clinched the East last night.
Yeah. So I mean, again, maybe he goes out there and just does his normal thing. That's certainly possible. That's not really my expectation. And I don't know if I would really want to play him that much anyway against Toronto on this slate. So he's
must-win game for Toronto too. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So he on the road, I mean, and he just hasn't been that great. And then the pitch count thing is real, I think. And then you go to Brandon Woodruff, the next highest priced guy on the slate. I mean, I don't really love picking on the St. Louis team, right? I do think he's going to be essentially a full go, but I don't love the matchup here. He has been very, very good over his last 3 starts. I like Woodruff more than those other 2, but I can poke holes in all these top guys until you get to Aaron Nola, who I think is in a really, really awesome spot. Phillies still fighting for the playoffs. They need to win this game. He goes into Chicago. Steve, you're there. It's 50 degrees, wind blowing in. It's
chilly and windy. Yeah.
It's like Wrigley Field in late April, early May type of weather. Man, that's a tough environment to hit in. And that is part of the reason why I loved Lance Lynn last night. That didn't work out, but it doesn't mean the thought process was necessarily wrong. It's just Lynn, didn't have it that day. He just gave up a bunch of base hits. It happens. But man, great spot for Aaron Nola here against the Cubs. He is the pitcher I have projected for the most fantasy points. I would take him straight up over any of those other guys, Woodruff, Verlander, Cole that we talked about. He's going to be heavily owned, but I think for good reason. And I think there's a tier break after Nola, personally, just kind of in the quality of these pitchers. So there's certainly other guys that are in play. We'll get to those, but just the top 4, Cole, Verlander, Woodruff, Nola. The only guy that I really want to play, and I do want to have a lot of him, is Aaron Nola. So kind of a bit of a stand up there with the top pitchers for me.
All right. I mean, obviously, Aaron Nola, good play, something to play for too. So that's obviously encouraging. Steve, let's go over to you. Who are some of the top end guys that you're looking at? I do think it's worth talking about these 4 at the top because that's where a lot of decisions are going to be made. Sure, you can make the case for Zach Gallen and some of these other guys, but I think talking about these 4 at the top makes a lot of sense because Cole, Verlander, and Woodruff, they're going to combine for what? At least maybe like one entire pitching slot of ownership. I think they're going to be probably like 100 to 120% owned, I would say would be like maybe the number I would give it.
Well, then Nola's taking another 30 to 40% of that too, right?
I think Nola's going to be high here as he should be.
I think Nola will be the highest owned pitcher.
I think.
Yeah, I meant all 4. So like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Between Nola, Woodruff, and Verlander, I think their combined ownership is probably 100 to 120%.
Agreed.
And then my assumption is the other 80 gets delegated to the guys below. It could be a little give and take one way or the other direction. But and if anything, I think it's maybe up the higher end. Maybe it's like 125. Like I think you're going to see it get pretty aggressive.
Yeah. So I think I'm with DC on Nola being the clear one here. I think I have him pretty far above the other 3 as well. I actually didn't even list Garrett Cole on the playbook. I like a lot of pitchers and, I'm with DC. I'm concerned about the spot. He hasn't been as sharp lately. The strikeouts are still there, but facing a tough team that has a ton of power. We saw all the videos of Garrett Cole getting shit-faced last night after clinching. I don't think that he goes super deep here. I mean, he could, but they are basically.
I didn't see those videos. I'll be honest, but there's videos of Garrett Cole getting wasted.
Yeah. I mean, they clinched the division. They're locked into the 2 seed. They can't pass Houston unless Houston loses out and they win out. So they're not technically locked in, but they're locked into the 2 seed. And kind of the same concerns.
I could see Garrett Cole being the guy. If you gave him a drink in like the 3rd inning, it might help calm him down a little bit and make him better.
Yeah. Listen. I've had I've had some of my best runs, like 12-mile runs, like hung over as shit. So it's certainly possible.
I'm here with two guys that can drink more than I've seen a lot of people. And one thing I'll say is, DC, I remember watching you on the slab, right? And you're sitting there playing threes and you're like, listen, I know I'm not the best one out there, but I'm going to grind. And like, you're sitting there setting picks hard. You're grabbing the rebounds and hustling. And as the game gets on, like, you're just getting better. It seems like you're powering through. So you never know. Maybe some drinks might help Garrett Cole a little bit in the next.
I bet maybe he's had some hair of the dog already today. Maybe he's going out there a little lubed up, like the David Wells, like hung over. Back in the day. Maybe.
He is an anxious guy out there. So, maybe it'll help. No, I think I'm more concerned about, they've clinched. There's no reason to push him here. Same boat for Verlander. The pitch count, I think max is 90-ish. He can definitely do his damage in 90 pitches against this Diamondbacks team. But you're paying to find out, right? You have no idea. And we do have top end guys in must-win games that I think are actually in better spots. DC talked about Nola. He's my clear SB1. Going to play a ton of him in my 20 lineups. For all the reason that he said, it's cold here. Cubs have been striking out a lot. I think we saw it was like a 2-1 game last night with two suspect pitchers. And I think we're both going to like both sides of that game again here. I have a little more interest in Woodruff, I think. So the Cardinals also clinched their division last night. They just put out their lineup. It is one of the weakest of the season. No Arenado, and the back half is very weak. Woodruff's been just rocking over the last month. 2.8 Sierra, 32% K rate. I expect him to pitch well here. I mean, this is a game that the Brewers need. They are 1.5 back of Philly in the wild card spot. So I think for me, it's Nola, Woodruff, Verlander in that order for the top. And then I am going to play some Zach Gallen here. Same exact spot, right? Houston clinches last night. They just put out an awful lineup for a normal team, a decent lineup. It's a bet on talent type of spot. Gallen leads the major leagues in pitcher war since the break. He's been awesome. 36% strikeout rate over the past month. So his last 5 starts, he's been at the Dodgers, at Coors, and against the Brewers and Phillies. 4 good offenses in those respective spots. He had the 40 spot against the Dodgers and over 30 in the other 3 spots. I think he's going to be low owned here. Is it comfortable? No. But against this lineup with the way he's going, if I'm playing a bunch of teams, I think I'm going to have some Gallen in there tonight.
One problem I have with Gallen, I do like him some after the lineup the Astros put out. I just can't figure out what he changed to suddenly where his season kind of flipped. But yeah, I mean, you look at the matchups and what he's done. It's hard to deny Zach Gallen. I'm seeing him right now, at least projected pretty low owned as well. I think, at the beginning of the day, people you see against the Astros, no Jordan, no Jose Altuve, right? That's a big 2 that are out. Yeah, big bump for him there. So I like the Gallen call, and Woodruff too. Like you said, no Arenado, no Tommy Edman in that lineup, who's another high contact guy. Woodruff. I mean, if he's going, the Brewers need him, right? They'll let him go. So maybe a little bit higher on Woodruff than I initially said, based on what the Cardinals put out there. So I'll add Woodruff back in with Nola, which I think is enough for me, Steve, to kind of squeeze out for sure Cole and maybe Verlander entirely. Yeah. Now that I'm willing to spend on those 2, Woodruff and Nola, and then some Gallen too.
Is Woodruff the one that's always good against the Cardinals, or is it the other Brewers pitcher that I'm blanking on? I always get them confused. Burns?
All of the Brewers pitchers always suck ass when I roster them. So I'll let you know, DC, if he ends up on my main team.
Yeah, Woodruff has only pitched 9 innings against the Cardinals this year, Mangone. So not.
It must have been Burns then. I know it's been talked about a bunch. So I've seen it in the chats always. So, and we got Pumps VG in the chat. Baseball is so trash. Pumps. Here's the thing, dude. It's September 28th. We clearly like baseball. You don't see me popping on Twitch and like some Call of Duty stream and being like, Call of Duty sucks. Like, just get out of here. We don't care. Like, get out. Like, let's talk some baseball.
What do you waste your time with then?
What?
What's
what
he
are you
wasting
doing
his
here?
time with? Yeah.
I don't get it. It's just like ridiculous. So,
I don't
you
think
know
it
what?
sucks. I'm here talking about it for free. You know?
Yeah, it's just imagine like literally wasting your time doing that. It just seems ridiculous. But let's not waste our time anymore. And let's talk about some of these other pitchers because hey, we could roster two guys at the top, but we should consider some other options. You guys talked about Gallen. Obviously, he's had some type of success this year, but has struggled recently. We got Julio Urias. I mean, do they need to push him? We know how he is. Old Dave Roberts, not going to mess with that. The two guys I'm looking at that I think are like the ones that I really think you should consider the most. They're probably George Kirby against Texas, Kyle Walker against Miami. And I guess I'll put Jose Quintana in the conversation. I don't know if Lefties versus the Brewers has been printing. I mean, once NFL started, obviously I haven't been following baseball as closely, but I know that was a thing all August for sure. Let's go over to UDC. How are you handling this like 10K and below? Because there's some good options down here, but I also don't think there's like a plethora of them that we should just be like throwing into our lineups.
Yeah. So I'll run through most of these guys and just give my thoughts. So Urias, again, Dodgers, nothing to play for outside of, chasing kind of record number of wins, just putting together that dominant season, I think is kind of important for them. So I think he'll be good when he's out there, but under 90 pitches in 3 of the last 4 games. I think he's a guy that they would kind of prefer to limit his innings a little bit if they can. So he's plus, relatively low strikeout matchup. He's kind of off the list for me. Musgrove, I don't like pitching pitchers against the Dodgers. I know it's, Snell came through and some other guys have, but he's been below 80 pitches in 2 of his last 3. Padres are out of it. So don't love Musgrove. Yeah, and then you get to George Kirby, I think is interesting against Texas. He's had some concerning starts lately. I think I was on him on that start in Oakland where he just got absolutely shelled. That was disappointing. But for the most part, he's been pretty good. I do think he is definitely in play. I'll leave Luzardo. Steve, are you in on Luzardo? I'm guessing.
Of course I am.
Yeah, I guess you might be. So I'll leave him to you. I'll talk about a couple more guys. Quintana, he's been good recently. I'm a little worried about St. Louis clinching last night and just them not kind of a throwaway game as a team, right? Maybe they want to kind of wind him down too, but he's cheap enough, 6,700. I can see it. I just don't love rostering some of these pitchers against teams, even offenses that have something to play for that are like I think some of these offenses are like not even necessarily like preparing for the pitcher. You know what I mean? If they're just completely out of it, they're just kind of going through the motions. Whereas like teams like the Brewers are, you got to assume they're coming in there with like a real game plan and all that. I think that is not to be overlooked. So that's my worry with Quintana a little bit. But I guess I'll take the time now to talk about the guy that I really like today, the guy that I'll have the most exposure to, the guy I think is the best play on the slate. I know Lance Lynn didn't work out yesterday, but if you want to stick with it, Hayden Wesneski, I think. Steve, you're the Cubs fan. I think that's how you say it. I think
sounds right to me.
Yeah, I think he could have a really big game here. I've actually been impressed with what he's done. Just the results. Just the very surface results have been very good, right? A 2.46 ERA, a WHIP of 0.8. The underlying stuff all looks really good for him. Like, I think he might be a pretty damn legitimate pitcher. It gets to pitch in Chicago against a strikeout-prone Phillies team in that weather where it's just brutal for power hitters. He's a ground ball guy. They've let him go fairly deep. Last 3 games, 88, 87 pitches. But last 2 games, he got through 7 innings, 6.1 innings. I could see them, Steve, stretching him out even further. I mean, he's a legit starter. He's competing for a job in the starting rotation next year, which, I mean, 2 more good starts, and he's probably kind of got one.
That's what I was going to bring up. I mean, they need options going into next year.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, this is a big start for him. It really is. A 24-year-old, he's one of the guys that got traded over from the Yankees, right? And he's looked good to me. I'm seeing him projected at like 3 to 4% owned. He's 7,600 on DraftKings. I think he's going to have a good game. I really do. So he is my favorite pitcher once you consider price, ownership. I think he's going to get the job done. Just a great pitching environment, the best pitching environment on the slate. Pretty good matchup, and he's a pitcher I believe in. He's cheap. He's unowned. That's enough for me to, kind of, I don't know what the words are, put it on the line with Wazinski and go down with the ship with him tonight. So he is my favorite play overall on the slate, including obviously a pitcher. And we'll see, but I do have faith in him tonight.
All right, Steve, let's go over to you. I mean, are you playing Wazinski? Obviously that BigT just, or not BigT, DC talked about him a lot. He's busy talking about Big T in the chat with our boy Butthole Jenkins. So that's why he's on my mind. George Kirby is one that I think is a really interesting play. We know the upside that he can have against Texas here. What's your overall takeaways of like the pitchers just below the 10K range?
Yeah, so I've got 4 guys on my list under 9K, starting with Kirby. It was that daytime slate against Oakland, DC, where everyone had him. Not too concerned about that going into this start here. I think the reason to be uncomfortable with Kirby would be the very strict pitch count that he's been on for the last couple starts. They're basically holding him between 80 and 85. I think he can get it done here in 80 to 85 pitches, especially at the price, but it's just something that's in the back of your head, right? The Mariners need this game. They're another team that's battling for the wild card. And the Rangers do strike out a lot, top 10 rate in the split against righties. I think the thing that I like best about Kirby and Luzardo, who I'm going to talk about next, is their price near Taijuan Walker, who's just not a guy that I usually play. And I think he's going to be popular on this slate because he just crushed the Marlins last time he faced them. I think really like Kirby as a pivot to Taijuan. And I like Luzardo as well, guy that I always play, as DC. The Lizard King was just freaking awesome in that Cubs start last time out. 11 Ks. The fastball was back up above 96 on average, which is what you love to see with him. And the walks are down, which is his big thing as well. So I like to play him when he's healthy, when he's on the slate, which is only a couple times a year, right? He's priced down here in a tough spot against the Mets. It's a dangerous matchup. No getting around that. And the Mets just killed him a couple starts ago. But the strikeout upside is there. The price is down. All of the underlying stuff is real good right now. His CSW is right up there with Cole, Nola, and Woody. He's a 9K pitcher when everything is right for him. And I think that's what's going on with him right now. He's going to be low owned because he's up against the Mets, but I believe in him, so I'm going to play him. I'm not sure who else wants to go with me, but he is definitely my pool. And then Wisniewski is my cheap guy that I like for all the reasons that DC said. The strikeout rate is there. He looks good, great weather. His Sierra so far is sandwiched right between Nola and Woody on the slate, under 3. So the underlying stuff backs up him pitching well so far. And I really like him as the best punt pitcher. I have Quintana in my pool for now. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep him there. The Brewers, as Mangone said, have just been awful against lefties for like 2 months. That really hasn't changed. But I am nervous just because they need this game so much. I don't know. So Quintana might be on the outside looking in, but he is so cheap that I do think that he is in consideration. Definitely the lowest strikeout rate of anyone we've talked about, but his K prop is up at 5.5, which tells you how good of a matchup it is for him strikeout wise with how poorly the Brewers hit lefties.
Yeah, I mean, Steve, I know you don't want to target. You're thinking taking Quintana out because the Brewers need it. The Mets need their game too, but I'll forgive you because you like playing Luzardo so much. Who's
Mangone playing?
What?
Yeah. Who's Mangone playing tonight?
Who am I playing? A pitcher? I'd say I'm probably right now currently looking to go up top, but I love what Steve said about the Kirby pivot. I think Kirby's my favorite cheap one that I would go to. And this is like segues to what I want to do. I want to talk about I want to talk about our 2 favorite pitchers up top. and then our two favorite below Nola. Like, I think that's the best way to kind of sort this out. I think up top for me, DC, it's really, really simple. I love the Nola and Woodruff route. I think that is probably going to end up being the most popular route. I think Justin Verlander ends up being the next one. And then if you want the lowest owned one, it's probably Garrett Cole, I would guess. And then for the cheap ones, I would say for me, number one is definitely going to be Kirby for the cheaper ones. And then you guys may have sold me on this Wisniewski guy.
Join us, Mangone. We need you on the party. Join the Good Mojo Wisniewski party. It's going to be a good one.
I
Imagine missing out on.
I want Mangone in. I want him in.
Well, I'm missing out because I haven't been like playing as much like, during the season, like during the September time, right? So like, of course, I haven't really jumped on because I've been like, NFL I'm worried about, or college football, like so. Hey, the Wisniewski train, I'm thinking about it. And one reason why I like the selling point is the Phillies always remind me of the Yankees, where like, sure, they can hit a ton of home runs, but you know what they can also do? Strike out a lot. So weather's good too.
So board, man, go. We need you.
Yeah, I think I'm in. I think Kirby's my one. I think Wisniewski's two. I'm curious to hear what Steve's going to do up top and down low, because I know he's talking about loving Luzardo, and I love playing Luzardo too. And I was wondering, maybe he does fire him away in that top two. Maybe he goes Wisniewski and someone else. So who are the guys you got, Steve, up top and then down low? Your two favorite ones.
Yeah, so up top, Nola definitely won, and I think there's a clear gap between Nola and everyone else on the slate. So it's Nola and Woodruff up top, with Gallen would be third for me in the 9K plus. And then down low, Wisniewski is my favorite too. I think it's him, and then I'll be splitting Luzardo and Kirby under 9K.
All right, Luzardo and Kirby for the cheap ones for Steve. Let's go to DC. Up top, who are your two favorite? And then down low, who are your two favorite? Who do you got?
Yeah, Woodruff and Nola up top for sure. Wisniewski, obviously. And then I do want to talk about two more pitchers. My favorite down here is Michael Lorenzen. So there's a couple pitchers down here who have recently returned from injury and have pitched pretty well and look like obviously we want in general, pitchers that are pitching for something, trying to get their team into the playoffs. But there's also the factor of pitchers that are like trying to prove themselves in these last couple starts. Wisniewski fits that bill. I think Michael Lorenzen fits that bill. Returned on September 9th after missing over 2 months and has held his own against the Astros, Mariners, and Texas Rangers, three decent teams. He was decent before going on the IL, and they've let him throw 85, 89, and then 99 pitches in those 3 games. He gets the Oakland A's here. I know it's one of the better hitting environments in LA, but this looks like a pretty good spot to me for Michael Lorenzen. He's super cheap at 6,200. I think he's a pitcher that could go 6 or 7 innings and I think is, pitching for something. So I do like him a lot at 6,200. And then the other guy that I do kind of like is the Twins pitcher, Josh Winder, their rookie. Another guy that's been pretty solid this year. Is going to be very, very low owned at 6,800. And if you saw, I was unfortunately on the wrong side of the Twins White Sox game. I was on Lance Lynn. It was a pitcher on the other side, Bailey Ober, who demolished the White Sox. 34 DraftKings points. He was like 1% owned.
In the playbook yesterday, DC.
Yeah, no, I felt stupid for not having any exposure to him, honestly, because he is a pitcher that I do have some respect for. About the same respect that I have for Winder, who I think is an okay pitcher. The Twins are out of it, but Winder is another guy who is absolutely pitching for a spot in the Twins starting rotation next year. He's got something to pitch for. They're ramping him back up. And this is not a big game for the Twins. It means nothing, but it is a big game for Josh Winder. And I think you could see him go out there. I'm not predicting 34 fantasy points out of him like Bailey Ober put up, but clearly, it's possible. If Bailey Ober can do it against this team in the same conditions, so could Josh Winder. So I do love spending down at pitcher tonight. A lot of the bats that I like are more expensive. We'll get to the stacks, obviously, but yeah, I know that's a lot of time on pitching, but I do think it's a really interesting one. And I see some really fun low-owned plays that are cheap, which is my favorite type of MLB baseball slate.
Yeah, should be a fun slate. Obviously, we spent a lot of time on pitching because pitching's good today, but We'll talk about the hitters. We'll probably breeze through those a little bit, and we will get out the stacks, DC. But maybe we gotta get some more likes up, or else maybe I'll do members never win, and I'll just go through that whole routine again. So that's the way to trick the people. They don't want to hear me babble about that again. They want the stacks. They want the plays of the day, which we'll be giving the plays of the day out today. Don't worry. So please hit that like, subscribe to the channel, check out all the content that we have over here at Run Pure Sports. Time to go over to the hitters and talk about that. Obviously, when we talk about pitching a lot, like I said, we're going to breeze through some of these games. One game I don't think we're breezing through here is the first game, the Braves and the Nationals. And let's go over to DC first because he loves to talk about the Braves. Is it a Braves day for you, DC? I don't think it's a Braves day for me. How about you?
What? How could it not be a Braves day? Look at what Josiah Gray has done over these last 2 months, Steve. Where
the lefties I'm in on. The lefties make sense. Maybe the mini style lefties.
It's like the biggest Brave day of the last 2 weeks.
No, I don't like guys. I don't like playing the Braves. I need the Mets to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're crazy, but
I'm a Mets fan, DC. Can I be a fan for 3 days?
Okay.
Maybe 3.
Listen, Josiah Gray has one of the highest home run rates given up on the of any pitcher. What is
the last 10 years.
It's crazy the amount of bombs Josiah Gray gives up against a team that has a ton of power. Ronald Acuna woke up yesterday, hit 2 home runs. Matt Olson is finally doing something. We know. Michael Harris in the 3-hole.
Yeah,
baby.
Michael Harris in the 3-hole is something I'm interested in.
But that changes things. Not in terms of I was going to play him anyway. I'm going to play the Braves anyway, but just gives you the little extra boost in there. 1 through 9. I think all of these Braves are in play. They are my number one stack. Josiah Gray, like we said, gives up a ton of home runs. His one, it was more than one, a big redeeming quality early on in the year. He was getting a lot of strikeouts, a lot of swings and misses. Now those are gone, and you can't miss any more bats. And even when he's on his game, he gives up a ton of home runs. He's limping to the finish line right now, Steve. He's thrown a lot of innings. I think he's been healthy the whole year. I can't remember him missing a start. And he appears to be wearing down. Wouldn't be shocked if this is his last start of the year. To be honest, he's also been much worse at home, just getting absolutely blasted. And while this isn't the best hitting conditions on the slate, like weather-wise, it's kind of cold everywhere. So 65, 70 degrees in Washington, D.C. is still better than a lot of the environments we're looking at. So, man, I see bombs away for the Braves here. You're guaranteed the full 9 inning of the bats. Horrible bullpen behind Josiah Gray. You can also run on him. The Braves have a bunch of speed at the top of the lineup. I just think there's just immense upside for the Braves here, in my opinion, clearly more than for any other team. And I think, man, I don't know. I think the Braves are going to nuke Josiah Gray here, hit a couple, 2-3 home runs. I'm talking here's my prediction for Josiah Gray: 2 2/3 innings, 8 earned runs given up. It's going to be that type of game for Josiah. Mangon's going to be crying in the corner as his Mets get shut down by Jesus Luzardo.
Yeah,
it's going to be a good day for a Braves fan.
That's the one that is very, very hurtful. I mean, Gary said it best.
Now I'm playing Luzardo too. I wasn't even going to play him, but now I'm playing this.
We can both win. I might be fading the Braves now. Don't you dare all put them on your course. Then I'm just really going to fade it. Everyone's on it. I'm going to go the other way, and then I'll jump on the RPS train tomorrow with a kicker and the captain with Big T.
Yeah, there you go.
So no, we'll have to see how it all shakes out. I'll just say, I think the Braves, they're fine. I do like the Michael Harris, like the Olsen, but I'm not 5-manning him. I'll let you all 5-man him. Maybe I'll just keep him as the 2-man, maybe the 3-man, but
more money for me and Steve.
What?
More money for me and Steve.
That's fine.
Gary too. Gary's going to get in on the train.
We know Gary's going to get in. Don't worry. That's no question behind it. Let's go over to you, Steve. Is it a Braves day? Maybe it's not. Maybe you like someone else a little bit more, but we'll have to see. Are they number one on the list? What do you got, Steve?
Yeah, they're number one. So DC, my biggest thing with the Braves is how many of my 20 lineups do I 5-man with them? Awesome spot. Awesome spot. Like you said, Gray limping to the finish line. I just pulled it up. So his career high in innings before this season was 70 2/3. He's at 142 right now. So double his career high in innings.
He really shouldn't be pitching right now. Like
I thought they would shut him down by now. I actually,
but the Nationals are idiots, so they just.
Yeah. If you have DK, you can bet under 15.5 outs on Josiah Gray. I bet that this morning. Yeah. I think that, even if he pitches decently, they're probably pulling him after 5 here. So yeah, I mean, I love the Braves. I love the lineup. We're finally seeing. He's on the lineup. I was going to say Ozuna's finally hitting. But yeah, I mean, the lineup's awesome. They're not expensive enough on DraftKings. We like a couple of the mid-range and cheap pitchers. So yeah, it's bombs away for the Braves. And then I think the Nats are decently interesting on the other side for secondary stacks.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to 5-man them just because the Atlanta pen is good.
I think CJ Abrams one of the best values on the board.
Odorizzi has been awful since they traded for him. I think it's in the playbook. It's like 25 earned runs in 37 innings. And it was either last time out or the time before. They just kind of left him out there to die. It was weird. But they used a lot of the pen last night with Muller not going 5 innings.
They're not going to leave him out there to die today, I don't think.
No, but I mean, they're all so cheap, right? If you cross out Meneses, I think Lane Thomas is the most expensive guy in the lineup at 3.5. So yeah, I mean, I love the 2 and 3 man Nats. Abrams, Thomas, a great 2-man. We got Voit, who's finally hit for some more power lately, hitting cleanup. So yeah, I see full game stacks here. Braves, my favorite 5-man on the entire slate, though.
Yeah, even Meneses himself. I mean, the dude's been like toe for toe with Aaron Judge over the last.
I know.
It's just insane.
He's 5'3", and I'm trying to save money. But if you like those cheaper pitchers, definitely get him in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like attacking Odorizzi, so don't mind the Nationals. But there's another game maybe I might just game stack up and call it a day. Now that might be what I decide to do a little bit.
I like that game too. I know which one you're going to say. I like it too.
Yeah, that's fine. You can all jump on the Braves and I'll jump on the game stack. Well, you guys all take pieces, and then my game goes for like its final scores like 15-12, and maybe I ship. We'll have to see, but should be interesting. Obviously, good plays. But are we thinking they're the highest owned offense? It's a question to ask. Are they the highest owned today? Which one do we think is?
The Braves, probably. Yeah.
I typically fade the highest owned offense and find like another one I prefer. So that's just typically what I do.
Yeah, I think obviously, Steven, I think they should be the highest owned offense because we're playing them despite the fact that we think they will be, right? So
yeah.
But
I mean, to me, it's a context of the slate thing. We've got like 9 games that are going to be played in 50-degree weather.
It's fair, but what it always depends. Like I think like playing like just some offense that's like a stupid offense doesn't make sense, right? But like, what's the second or third best offense's ownership versus the first? So those are the things I like to think about. It's always context of slate. That's 100% correct as well. And you are right. Like as we get into these later games, like with the weather getting worse, there are some spots where like you just look across the board and you're like, this ain't July where like it feels like anything can pop off. Like you just know some things are just going to be like really bad games and die. You know what I mean? So it's a fair point brought up and something to think about when you're building out your lineups. The one thing that'll give me the green light, guys, if I pull up Big T's player pool and I see Braves cord, I'll be in. I got to see them on the core though. They can't be on the stack list.
Big T, if you're watching, get in on the Braves tonight.
I can't imagine him fading the Braves in this spot.
Well, he won't fade them, but will they be on the core? That's the question.
I think the core might be this next game that we're going to talk about.
If he's Fenway, if he's fading the Braves, it's because he's just won so much money that he's just not thinking straight.
Yeah, he's like, I can
punt
off this slate.
This is an amazing spot. I trust in Big T to be wise and be on the winner's circle.
He won't fade them, but I'm wondering if they'll be in the core. That's all I'm going to say. Because yesterday I was considering the Astros fade and I didn't know. And I was like, ownership might be more spread out. And I was like, I'm fine with it. And Big T cored the Astros. And I said, let's ride. I was just, let's do it. And so I jumped on. Maybe I'll jump on with him. We'll have to see. You guys like him. And yeah, Gray has been much worse. I looked at the numbers, by the way. If you're a numbers guy, it makes a lot of sense for sure.
Steve, it is a little insulting. We're given all these great reasons to play the Braves, all these numbers, all this data, right to Mangone's face on the show. And he's like, whatever. It's just whatever Big T does. I'm going to do that. It's
To
a
be
little
fair,
insulting.
Big T
I
is
think if it wasn't the Braves, if it was a different team, I think he would be in. But I mean, the Braves and the Mets are going
it's a mix of both.
at each other's throats here. The
It's a
last
mix
10
of
days.
both. There's a little bit of bias. I also don't love playing the best offense, and Big T is your father, DC. So I mean, that's a fair point.
It's
right?
like the perfect storm.
Well, Mangone, let me tell you something. I did see today on Twitter. You spent some time on the Bird app. I saw it is National Sons Day.
Oh.
And
It's your time to ship then.
I am going to make my father proud tonight. The Braves and Mr. Wysensky are gonna, I just want to make my dad proud. So
I think I'm back in. I might have to put an entry in right now. That's the DC Core Suns lineup. I think that's it.
I got a tweet ready. I've been working on the Photoshop all day. It's gonna be good. I'm definitely securing my doom already by talking all this, but
I might need to do a DC Big T father-son core combo. That's what I might have to figure out.
There we go.
We'll have to maybe make a lineup for that. Guys, if you could please like and subscribe to this video, helps us out a ton over here at Run Pure Sports. We appreciate it. Butto Jenkins saying that I'm stroking Big T. Butto, I gotta stroke him right now. I mean, I am gonna be seeing Big T in a couple of weeks too, so I gotta stroke him before I get there. So gotta make sure I can not get kicked out or anything like that.
But I hope you wouldn't stroke them when you're hanging out.
Yeah. Before I get there, right? I just gotta make sure I'm in and I can hang out, and then kind of not.
The Twitter internet stroking is one thing, but you got to have a limit to it.
Yeah, if I'm in Big T's basement, there'll be no stroking going on. No chance. So, but let's move on over. We can go through this game quick. Anyone like the Yankees or Blue Jays? Anyone?
No.
Cool. Let's go to the game we want to talk about. Steve?
No.
All right, cool.
No, I was just going to say the Yankees, because of their lineup after clinching, have a bunch of cheap bats in there against a shitty pitcher that I don't think are going to get removed. So I think you can play some secondaries there despite the bad lineup.
The part of me that likes to see the world burn is kind of hoping Aaron Judge just gets stuck on 60 and never hits another home run.
Yeah. Oh man. By the way, a great comment in the chat from Beefy Layer. He says, Big T going to play Urena. Now, if Urena is in his core, he's gone too hot. It's over. Like everything's done. There's no chance. We're not playing Jose Urena and the core.
If Big T heard that, he's going to play him now.
Probably
to prove that whatever he touches turns to gold.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Baltimore. Let's go to the Red Sox because it's a 9 total, and this game's been shooting out a bit. And listen, like Rich Hill, definitely a guy like you can target, and Dean Kramer. I actually don't mind Dean Kramer. I think long term, I think he could be not bad. I'm not saying he's like an ace or anything, but this park is obviously a good park, right? I mean, that's what you need to be attacking in baseball. That is very important. And I think this game is in play. It's a 9 total. It's higher than an 8.5. Of course, it's because the national side is a little bit lower. So that's part of the reason why, but 9 total here. And if it's going to be lower on than that Brave spot, sign me up. I might be game stacking this thing up, tossing it on the TV, sitting back, listening to some RPS content, getting ready for the, Showdown stuff tomorrow and, enjoying life. So let's go over to you first, Steve. You said you like this game. What's your thoughts here on this one?
Yeah, so I'm getting my 2 game stacks out of the way early. This is the other one here. Been on this game the first 2 nights, and they both got nuts. We saw Dean Kramer throw the complete game shutout last time out, career high in pitch count. This is a JT Hayes special here, fading the start after that. The underlying stuff still isn't very good for Kramer. He's got the 3rd highest Sierra on the slate over the last month. Still not striking anyone out. K rate under 15%. So lots of balls in play in Boston, where we know these games can just get out of hand. And on the slate where, I mean, we're talking about playing Josh Winder and Wisniewski and shit like that. This is a part.
Don't call those guys shit. No, Steve, that's not.
This is where we want to play the bats. So I really like both sides. Baltimore put out a weird lineup tonight. I think it's mainly just to attack Rich Hill with as many right-handed bats as they can. So a little bit of pinch hit risk in there for a couple guys on the Orioles, especially Nevin, Favre, McKenna. So I would be careful with a couple of those guys. But guys like Mountcastle, Santander, I think has got 5 or 6 bombs in his last couple games, red hot. So them and Mateo, I think, are my favorite. Do like the Red Sox side a little bit more. But yeah, I'll be game stacking this one up and hopefully winning a lot of money early, because if I'm not, then it's not going to be a good night for me.
Yeah, I'm definitely game stacking this one up. Should be a fun time. Let's go over to you, DC. Are you stacking this game up? How are you handling it? Obviously, these teams have been going off lately. So do you expect this thing to continue in Fenway Park?
Yeah, I do like this game. I had Orioles were my second favorite stack yesterday. They were awesome, went off. Of course, the Red Sox did it on the other side too. And I don't know. I feel like it feels like Fenway Park just gets these series that just explode into life, and like the bullpens get tired and it's just constant runs in that environment. This feels like one of those a little bit, doesn't it? Where they had to run through their bullpens entirely yesterday, and you got Dean Kramer versus Rich Hill for two offenses that, like, again, the fact that the Red Sox just like put up that big game at home makes me think that these guys aren't just playing out the string, right? They're trying still to do damage. Two bad bullpens and two bullpens that are worn out after the last couple of days, frankly. So I see a big game here too. The Orioles side, Steve, you mentioned the pinch hit risk. I think it's considerable for 3 or 4 of these guys. I think you mentioned the top 3 that I would have said: McKenna, Nevin, Vavra.
Aguilar probably.
What's that?
Aguilar probably
I don't
too.
think is safe, and I don't think Robinson Chirinos is necessarily safe. Maybe they want to give Adley Rutschman a day off, but the very fact that they're running out a completely, they haven't put out anything like really close to this exact lineup all year long. It's all righties against Rich Hill, which makes sense. But to me, that says that they're still trying to win games. And if they're trying to win games, these dudes are all coming out when a right-handed pitcher gets in the game, which against Rich Hill could be 3 or 4 innings in. So I'm hesitant on a lot of the Orioles, the guys that I think are safe: Mountcastle, Santander, Hayes, and maybe Mateo, but even he could come out for Gunnar Henderson, right? Potentially.
I think so. Urias went on the IL today. I think Nevin is the one, because they've been playing Gunnar at third. So I think Nevin is definitely
in there, because he's kind of their future, probably start the shortstop for them next year, right? So Nevin, Vavra, and McKenna, and then potentially Chirinos, I think, are the biggest risks in that Orioles lineup, which, listen, it matters because we really like this team, but you've got to be on the right guys. So that's the way I'm approaching the Orioles. And then, the Red Sox, I like Dean Kramer as a pitcher a little bit, but he's coming off probably the best game that he'll ever pitch in the major leagues. He shuts out Houston, 9-inning complete game shutout. Throws 106 pitches, which is the most pitches he has thrown on this entire season. What a spot to kind of collapse after that, right? We see it all the time. Pitchers that get a no-hitter or their best game, and then they come back and it's just not there for them. That seems like what's going to happen to me here for McKenna. So I like the Red Sox even more than the Orioles tonight. Top of the lineup: Pham, Devers, Bogarts, Verdugo, Casas. Martinez is okay. His power has been lacking, but that top 6 for the Red Sox, I think, does some damage here.
Yep, I think you bring up good points with that. Guys, please like and subscribe to this video. Helps us out a ton over here at Run Pure. We've been on almost an hour. We got a lot of games left, but let me tell you, it's going to start going quick. I don't think we're going to be jumping to play a lot of guys in these next games, but we'll have to see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these guys are just like, you're wrong. I'm going to load up on this game. So we'll have to see.
I had to punish you for your bad takes today, Mangone, and make you work overtime on the show.
That's fine. I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to be here and hang out with you longer. But don't forget, I can hold the show hostage. I can be here for a very long time. So we can turn this into an Up the Lock show. I'm sure people would love that. So maybe.
Oh, you're calling my bluff, and now you're gonna try to own me and make me start.
Yeah. I mean, you're pushing all in, and I'm just like, all right, all in back. I don't know what can you got.
Couple more let's members never win reads, and it'll turn into an Up to Lock show.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Big T will join, right? Then we'll have Kate Fallick pops in the room, and then like this show will just go all the way up to lock, so we'll have to see. Let's talk about the Marlins and the Mets though, because hey, it's a 6.5 total. I don't like 6.5 totals. Typically don't want to play them, but Mets are playing for something. And the one thing you could say for Luzardo, he's an up and down guy. His best, he'll crush the Mets. His worst, he'll get crushed by the Mets. So it could be in the conversation because of what the ceiling could be. Steve, let's go to you because I know you like Luzardo. I think you agree with the take that I just said, but I think some of the things that you've seen in the data, you just think Luzardo is just like on right now and there's no reason to go at him. But what's your thoughts here? Mets in play, or are we just moving on from this game, Steve?
I think the Mets could be in play if you're not playing Luzardo. I am, so I'm not going to be. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely only the righties. He is complete death on lefties. So guys like Nimmo, Jeff McNeil, Guillorme are just auto X's for me. I think you could play a mini stack of them, maybe. I mean, Alonso just hit his 40th bomb last night. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes deep. If you like the cheaper pitchers, I'm okay with that. And then if you don't like Taijuan Walker, I think my favorite play on the other side as a one-off, JJ Bleday hit another bomb last night. Their best up-and-coming player that's actually healthy right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't typically like X out guys like the Marlins and the A's. I don't X out the offense completely just because sometimes it's like a two-man stack. They pop in and I'm like, okay, I could see these two getting it done. Like it just depends. Not saying I'm playing them, but hey, they might not pop up even if I don't X them out, which is perfectly fine. DC, let's go over to you. Mets or Marlins? Any interest in this 6.5 total, or should we just keep this thing moving?
Yeah, we can keep moving on this one. I'm not going to have much from this game.
All right. DC is not trying to do an up to lock show, but we'll have to see. Maybe Twins and White Sox can get him excited. DC, let's go right back to you because, hey, you're a Twins guy, but Johnny Cueto is a guy we haven't picked on much this year. Until as of late, he has definitely had his struggles. Maybe everything is starting to fall off for old Cueto. Could be the time. Is it time to jump on the Twins, even though they've hurt us all year? I think it's time to stay away from the Twins. I don't think it's necessary to play them. Maybe you could do like a two-man stack. I don't think the Nick Gordon with like a Jake Cave as a cheap two-man is the worst idea to make things work. But that's it. I'm not looking to five-man this offense. How about you?
No five-mans for me with the Twins. Some of the cheaper guys. You mentioned Nick Gordon. I've mentioned him on every show, it seems like, for the last month. He's been one of their best hitters. Just a good player. He's still 2,800. You play him at second base or outfield, hitting third now. Yeah, I think he's a good play. I like Cave a little bit down there in the 6 hole, but the guy I like more is Matt Wallner, who is one of their, was kind of tearing it up in AAA. He's got some real power. He's 2,100 against Cueto. So yeah, I'll have the Twins, little mini stacks, one-offs sprinkled in, but no five-man Twins for me. And then, yeah, I'm not really going to the White Sox either. I did kind of say I got a little bit of faith in Josh Winder to pitch fairly well. I think he's got a little bit of upside, and for sure. Steve, we made it over an hour. You haven't said your favorite word, duration. I like Josh Winder's potential duration on this game. Sorry to steal it from you. It's my word now.
No, it's a good one. I like that one. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to not like anyone against the White Sox. What a complete shit show collapse it's been from them over the last week and a half. They finally get into striking distance of Cleveland. They get swept by Cleveland, and I think they got swept over the weekend too. They get shut out last night. They're just completely dead. No way I can play anyone from the White Sox right now. I do like the Twins mini, like you said.
The White Sox essentially eliminated from the postseason.
Yeah, they're done. I mean, they've lost 8. They've lost 8 games in a row.
Yeah, they're like 3.5 back. I think I saw today, but like, yeah, I mean,
that has to make you like Winder a little bit more, right? If you think this team is dead.
Yeah,
it might be further back than that. Actually,
so I don't like to list, like 12 pitchers on the playbook. So I listed 8, and Winder was the last guy I cut. But yeah, for bats, the only 2 guys I have in this game clicked are Gordon and Wallner. So same page.
Sorry, they're 7.5 back of the Mariners. The Twins are still alive, DC. They're 8.5 back. They're not eliminated. So, maybe they fight and claw and get there. Probably not. But let's move this thing along. I'm not interested in this game. Let's talk about the Cardinals. Let's talk about the Brewers. Obviously, you can always make the case for the Cardinals, but Cardinals lineup is a little watered down today, so I don't think this is the time. Let's wait for the playoffs to maybe pop onto them. Maybe Quintana. Maybe you can play some of these guys, but we know how bad the Brewers have been against lefties. Steve, let's go over to you. Any interest in this 7 total?
Yeah, on both pitchers here, really high on Woodruff, so definitely no Cardinals with the watered down lineup. I don't have any hitters in or on either team in this game.
All right, DC.
Yeah, and I'm jumping off the Quintana train as well. Just fully off it. Game after clinching, nothing to play for. The Brewers, everything to play for. Rolled out this entirely, essentially right-handed lineup. No Yadier Molina to catch. Yeah, I just don't like the way this one smells for Quintana. So I'm going to jump off of him. Brewers guys they've got some lefty matchers in there. McCutchen, Adames, even down at the bottom of the lineup, Keston Hiura and Tyrone Taylor, I think could get you a cheap home run. So yeah, I'm more on the Brewers side, definitely not playing any Cardinals hitters against Woodruff.
I mean, DC, he's a savvy veteran. You don't think he's going to play for the love of the game?
I'm sure he will, but
I know. I just hit you with like the world's like a 1960s stupid term. So my apologies. Just wanted to say I thought it'd be funny.
No. He does seem like he probably loves the game. Jose Quintana.
Yeah, if there was a guy, he would be on that list for sure.
Yeah, he would.
He'll be pitching like 5 years from now. I'll be like, why is Jose Quintana still pitching? Well, he's loving the game. Let's go to the Cubs. Let's go to the Phillies. 53 degrees, wind blowing in. We like both these pitchers. I'm not even asked. Let's keep this thing moving. Arizona Diamondbacks, Houston Astros, 6 total here. Verlander versus Gallen. Doesn't seem like a game to target, but Steve, let's go to you first because you surprised some people. You attacked yesterday. You went to Luis Garcia with some of these Diamondbacks. I played some Diamondbacks too. Steve, what's your thoughts here on this one? What are you doing here with the Diamondbacks or the Astros? I don't know if Steve is here. I think there's an issue. DC, are you here? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It does appear that Steven is frozen. Maybe his he paid for the a la carte internet. We only had it for an hour. Not really on this game. I do think you can pick off one-offs against Verlander. These lefties, Corbin Carroll, maybe a Dalton Varsho leading off. Verlander kind of seems like lefties have a chance to go deep against him. He just never walks anybody. He challenges everybody with a lot of fastballs. So I do kind of like the left-handed power for Diamondbacks as one-offs. Obviously, deep tournament plays, not really on the Astros. Frankly, probably no Astros at all. So yeah, kind of easy game for me.
All right, Steve, I was saying before, I don't know if you heard me, but you surprised people yesterday. And I played some Diamondbacks. It was a good time. Dalton Varsho can obviously go yard anytime. Jake McCarthy. I like the Snakes, but not as much today. Sure, a one-off. I agree with DC. If I happen to get a Dalton Varsho on a team, I'm not going to say no to him. But how about you? Are you stacking this game up or no?
Yeah, no bats here for me. I'm higher than the field on Gallen. And Verlander just not going to attack him. I don't mind the one-offs. The prices on a couple of these D-backs have come up a bit more than I would like. But yeah, it would definitely be a one-off with one of the lefties. I mean, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 lefties in the lineup. So
Corbin Carroll, 3K outfielder, I think is the best play if you want one guy.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. They dropped him down in the order. I actually like him down there, a little less pressure. So yeah, probably Carroll or bust. Would probably play Varsho if he were Carroll's price though, but he just isn't.
Yeah, I will say the Diamondbacks next season, I think in April they're going to be fun. I might just load up on them early on next year.
I'll join you on that train, man. I like that.
Yeah, we get them in. They get to play at Milwaukee to close the season Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So, I might sign up for that. That might be my one last chance to go in there when they're in San Francisco. Maybe not so much, but we'll have to see. Let's go to the next game. And this is one to talk about. It's an 8.5 total. It's Oakland. It's the Angels. DC, let's go right back to you. You're not liking it too many, I think, A's because you like Lorenzen. Yeah, maybe you play like a Sean Murphy or like a Seth Brown. But these Angels, I think they're in the conversation today. They have a pretty high implied total. Are you playing them or are you fading them, DC?
Yeah, the A side, I do think you can play the lefty power bats against Lorenzen. I do mention I like him, but that's mostly because I think he can give you 100 pitches, is cheap, and has a pretty good matchup, obviously overall. But still, yeah, guys like Seth Brown, I think are decent plays. And my personal interest and level of not just interest, but how much I have of Lorenzen, it's probably going to depend on what lineup we see from the A's. The more right-handers that are in there, the more faith I will have in Lorenzen. So I'm waiting to see that. And then on the Angels side, I mean, how could you not love Trout and Ohtani here against Adrian Martinez on the best hitting environment in the slate? They're at home. They're better at home in general. They're both been hitting pretty well recently. I mean, getting Trout and Ohtani into my lineups is one of the reasons I'm willing to go cheaper at pitchers when the weather's like this and there's just not that many good hitting spots. The few guys that can go off, right, that do have a realistic shot of hitting 2 home runs, I think become even more valuable assets on the DFS slate. And I think Trout and Ohtani, to me, are the 2 most likely players to go deep today. I think I would even take both of those guys. I'm not going to say it. I was going to say over Aaron Judge. That's probably a foolish thing to say, but my point is I love Trout and Ohtani. The rest of this lineup,
I'm okay with most of the rest of the lineup. Yeah. I'm more okay with this lineup now than I was 2 months ago. That's for sure.
I agree with that, but it's really Trout and Ohtani that I want.
All right. Well, Trout and Ohtani, it is. How about you, Steve? You playing this game, fading it? How you handling it?
Yeah, this is my other spot that I'm going to 5-man outside of the Braves and that game in Fenway. I like what the Angels have been doing the last couple weeks. You know, Renjifo's been good. Ward is starting to hit a bit. I like when they have Moniak in there. I hope he gets to start. He's 2K. And then they called up Levon Soto recently, who's 2K at shortstop, who I think, when you have those guys and you play like a Stassi at catcher, it just makes the 5-man a little bit easier to stomach when you've got 2 6K guys to balance them out with, a couple 2K guys that are actually in play, right? So, love the Angels 5-man. And I'm going to play some Oakland minis against Lorenzen, but like DC said, it's only going to be the lefties, with Seth Brown being by far my favorite from the Oakland side.
Yep, definitely like the Seth Brown side. I think he's a good cheap option. You can play in your cash games if you're really playing cash games on September 28th. Congrats, and you probably don't need our takes if you're still grinding out those cash games. I'll say that. But let's head on over to the next set of games. We got 3 left. So guys, please, last time and last, like and subscribe to this video. Helps out a ton over here at Run Pure Sports. Let's keep this thing moving along though. Rangers, Seattle Mariners, 6.5 total. Martin Perez, who, man, I feel like we've been trying to pick on him for years and years, and it hasn't worked out that much. And the Seattle offense is one I typically like to play, but 6.5 total in Seattle, doubt I'll do it. And George Kirby, I like him, so doubt I'll play some Rangers. Steve, let's shift back over to you. Any interest here?
Yeah, no bets here for me. I play Seattle probably more than I should have this year. Lineup's a bit weakened right now. Perez has been pretty damn good the entire year. I think he's earned himself another deal with the Rangers going into next year. And then I do like Kirby a lot, so definitely no Rangers. If I was playing anything from this game, it would be the right-handed power on the Seattle side. Haniger, we saw Suarez come back last night from injury, so probably those 2.
All right, DC, any interest here?
Not much. No Rangers for me, or very few anyway. I do like Eugenio Suarez a lot, though, at third base. Historic lefty, just every year of his career, basically, he's crushed lefties, including this one. Came back from injury, seems to be healthy. And Perez, decent pitcher, but still not someone I'm going to avoid. So I do like Eugenio Suarez a lot, but I won't have much else besides him.
All right, let's go over to this next game. Let's talk about Dodgers and Padres. 7.5 total here. I don't think it's the worst one. I mean, these hitting environments aren't great, and we know the Dodgers can pop off against anyone. And Joe Musgrove, I believe I looked at his numbers like maybe not too long ago when he was on a slate I was doing some content for, and I don't think his numbers have been that great. Steve, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, can we attack Musgrove here with some Dodgers?
I think if you're going to attack one of the sides, I think it's using the Dodgers against Musgrove. He's lost it a bit down the stretch here as he pushes almost 200 innings here. And the weather's pretty good out there. We talked about the nice weather in LA. It's cold everywhere. Of course, it's 78 and sunny in San Diego. So I think the Dodgers are totally fine here. They're expensive. So if you do like those cheap pitchers, I think that you're going to get them low owned here in, I don't know, the second or third best weather game on the slate.
All right, DC. I mean, any interest in this game? I'm definitely considering it. I'm thinking about it. You're shaking your head. What's your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think two good pitchers. Dodger side would be where I would go, but I will have very little exposure to this game.
All right, DC just doesn't want to do an up to lock show. I understand. Let's talk Rockies. Let's talk Giants. Maybe you'll talk a lot about this game, DC. I mean, it is an 8.5 total. Big T does like to play the Giants from time to time. Weather's bad everywhere. Wind is blowing out 15 miles an hour. And it's Jose Urena. Is this the perfect recipe? Is this the Jose Urena goodbye tour that we get and he just gives up 10 bombs? What's your thoughts here on this one in DC? How many tell the people this? Maybe they have interest in it. Who are the pinch hit risks? Because we talked about it in some other games. Giants are always a great team to talk about the pinch hit risks.
Yeah, Jose Urena has kind of owned my ass this year since returning. Like I have loaded up on the lefties against this guy every single start that he's made that I've, if I've played the slate, maybe if he's pitched on the Sunday, NFL Sunday, I haven't done it, but anytime he's been on the slate, I have played the lefties against him, and he's not that he's been good, but I had been kind of expecting more. So now when I'm, I guess, finally jumping off the game in San Francisco, probably this will be the slate where he gives up all these bombs. Yeah, all these bombs to the lefties. That said, I'm not paying $5,300 for Jock Peterson or $4,800 for Estrada, $4K for Yastrzemski. Not in San Francisco. Not playing, but yeah, I'm not playing this game. So two bad pitchers. Surprisingly big total for San Francisco. A little bit scary. I do agree, but I'm not going to go here myself.
I'm considering the Giants side a little bit. So, Steve,
I mean, they got like the third highest total on the slate. Yeah. It's crazy.
All right, Steve. Well, DC didn't answer my question unless maybe I wasn't listening. Who are the pinch hit risks? Who are the guys that I should maybe not be looking to play? So, DC does not want to do an up to lock show. He doesn't want to hang out with me much longer. He's asking for Holden back. What are we doing here, Steve?
So I feel like the Giants have played the Rockies 20 times in the last month because, we've said what feels like 100 times. The Rockies have one lefty in their bullpen, and it's a long man. So, yeah, I mean, there is a massive risk if they decide to use him, but there's only one guy. So, I think the biggest ones are Lamont Wade, Vosler. We don't have a lineup yet. But those are the two that I think have the biggest risk depending on the lineup. Jock Peterson even has some risk, and I mean, he's 5,300. So I think the prices on the Giants make it kind of tough, right? I like David VR a bit, and because he's 2,700. But if you play the righties, like Tyro Estrada and Wilmer Flores, they're almost 5K. So I don't know. Like this isn't a park that I like. Urania, like DC said, has just been pitching over his head for a while. It wouldn't surprise me if he does it one more time. I actually bet the under in this game this morning. I think we're going to have pretty much a full bullpen game on the Giants side. So wouldn't be surprised if this is a low scoring game. I actually kind of hope that the Giants get some ownership here just to pull anything away from the 3 or 4 spots that I think are actually really good.
All right. That wraps up the games. Guys, let's go to the stacks, right? That's what the people want to hear. That's what they want to know. DC, let's go to you first. Braves are number 1, I bet, but give the people the rest of the stacks you're on.
Yeah, keep keeping it pretty simple with my stacks. Braves, a lot of Braves, a lot of Red Sox, some Orioles, and some Angels. Pretty much those 4 is where you'll see the majority of my players come from. Of course, we'll mix in one-offs here and there on other games, but yeah, those are the teams I'll be ride or dying with tonight.
All right, Steve, top stacks. Let's hear it.
Yeah, kind of boring. I have the same 4 teams as my top stacks. I was going to be a lot higher on the Orioles until that lineup came out. I think kind of a trap spot for a lot of those bats. They're going to have to get there early because they are coming out. I mean, basically all 4 or 5 of those guys that we've mentioned are the worst half of platoons. We've talked about it for a couple weeks now. The Orioles much, much better against right-handed pitching, and that's because they can run out Mullins, they can run out Adley, guys like that.
There's that too, Steve. And then the Red Sox only have one left-handed pitcher in their pen, Matt Strom, threw 34 pitches yesterday. So it will be right-handed pitchers for the rest of the game when Rich Hill comes out of this game. I think I don't want to say a lock, but I would be very, very surprised if we don't see Cedric Mullins in there, as soon as Rich Hill is out. And then
Gunnar Henderson too. I think
those two guys are. I'll be very surprised if they're not in there by the 5th or 6th inning in this game. So two of the, that's at least 2 that are coming out. I think there could be more as well.
All right, well, instead of playing a Brave stack, you know what I'm doing? I'm doing a Cedric Mullins. I'm putting him in there, getting him in no ownership.
I like that. I might play a little Cedric Mullins.
All right, Steve, finish it off.
Yeah, and then I'll go back to the Angels. Great hitting environment. We talked a little about Adrian Martinez. Kind of the last month or so, kind of having the same issues that Josiah Gray is. 2.75 home runs per 9 for Adrian Martinez, and we know the bullpen's bad behind him. So yeah, I'm hoping the Angels get a little overlooked here. Their lineup isn't out yet, and I'll have a bunch of them tonight.
Yeah, I mean, DC, there's got to be a little bit of equity if you're playing like 150 lineups and throwing like 1 or 2 Mullins in there. Because man, if you
that's what I'm gonna do. I am playing 150, and I'm gonna put in 1 or 2 Mullins in there. I'll do it.
if you shipped with that, Twitter would lose it, like absolutely lose it. Like
and it's because but to do it, you got to call it out on the show. Because if you don't say anything about it and you ship with the Cedric Mullins, people are going to be like, it was a mistake. You didn't mean to have him in there. So I'm saying right now, Cedric Mullins, those 1 or 2 lineups he's in of mine, that's purposeful. And so, yeah, when that ships.
Gunnar Henderson too.
Yeah, Gunnar Henderson, those 2 guys. Little Gunnar Cedric stack.
There you go.
It's late in the year, so let's go to the plays of the day. Do I dare just say Cedric Mullins is my play of the day, DC? I mean, no, I can't.
I'm not willing to go quite that far on Cedric Mullins, but you know what? I'm going back to the same guy I did yesterday. Michael Harris came through for us again with did he have a pretty good game or a really good game? 19 fantasy points. Really good game. I think he's going to do it again. Hitting in the 3-hole. I think for the first time all year long, Josiah Gray giving up bombs, especially to lefties, especially recently. I think Michael Harris, I think you can make a case for him for the top overall bat on this slate. Love him tonight.
All right, Steve, I'm going to go next. I'm going to go let's go to a Boston Red Sox. While you guys all pay for Austin Riley, I'm going to pay for Rafael Devers. So I'll take Devers. Bangs went out. That's going to be my play of the day. Steve, let's head on over to you. Who's your play of the day?
Yeah, I'll go with a guy who is pretty much just as hot as Michael Harris, Anthony Santander for the Orioles. 6 bombs his last 4 games. One of those guys on the Orioles team that is not going to get pinch hit for, switch hitter, up to 33 bombs this year. Really impressive second half of the season. Yeah, I mean, red hot and just not expensive enough. He's 4,500 on DK. He will be anchoring my Baltimore, what I think will be secondary stacks now because of this lineup.
All right, there we have it. That's the show for you guys. Before we get on out of here, I'll just tell you this. Great time to sign up. You know why it's a great time to sign up? Big T's player pool, it's clear, which means the plays are starting to come in there. He's starting to cook up them winners. So grab your card now. Sign up at Rump Your Sports. Good time to do it. Get those winners from us. We had so many people win. I won't run through the members never win segment, but I'll just say this. We had someone turn $70 into $7,000. Someone turned $90 into $10,000. I mean, that could be you today. Follow Big T's core. Should be able to help you out. Maybe you follow DC's core, right along with the Braves. Follow Steve, whoever you want. We got all the sports for you guys. It's just for one price. If you're a sports fan, you're listening to this show, you're crazy not to sign up. And listen, if you still don't know why you should sign up, DM me on Twitter. I'm happy to just give you more info. I'll even show you what Big T's core was like tonight after the slate. If you want to see what he was on, maybe it entice you to, wow, Big T got it right again. I need to sign up. So shoot me a DM. I'm happy to talk to you on Twitter about it at Travis Mango. But that's going to wrap it up for us, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us here on the Swing for the Fences show. For me, Mangone, DC, and Steve, we'll see you guys later.